rebound taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. That other getting old. We got samurai in time. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spending with samurai in time. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul.
The Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, we talk Super Bowl, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to 4-4 Own Goals 25th episode. And man, am I getting sick of looking at these two Mongols, whatever you want to call them.
The word you are looking for is Mongoloid, and I'm pretty sure that's what it says on your birth certificate.
I don't care. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. I wanted to let everyone know that I'm a B roadcaster. It's worked out. Golly, just dropping bombs left and right. Here we go. Oh, job on that. This Cole and Tom look ideal. Sammy is too tall in that image. He's on a step stool, David. Just leave him alone, for the love of God.
Hey, that's a fire logo, man. That's a fire logo. My
big
man
shout out to
what's
that, your cousin, right, Sammy?
Yeah, so the artist that put that logo together for us is my cousin, Elvis Torres. He has a business. It's called Pixel and Pencil. For the first break, we're going to put out the website for it. He does all this graphic design himself. We gave him our images last week, let him do his thing, and he put together that thing, which is super sweet. I can't wait. That's some of the stuff we're gonna start getting that stuff on, like t-shirts, hoodies, stuff like that. We're gonna start putting those imagery on for anybody who wants to buy it.
Some gear, boy. Yeah. But yeah, I was super pumped. We just got that like 3 hours ago. So amazing job of that. You said Pixel and Pencil, right?
Yeah, it's Pixel and Pencil. Yep. www.pixelandpencil.com, or just look him up on Facebook or Instagram, Elvis Torres. That's ELVIS TORRES. He's really, really good. He does work with some of the rappers and stuff like that with their album work. He has a relationship with like Josh Monis and those guys, so he's legit.
I was just gonna ask, doesn't he do stuff for Top of the World?
Yeah, he does. He does Top of the World. Some of their album covers when they get stuff out there. So he's really, really good. Yeah. Very, very good. Really has honed his craft.
Yep.
Hey, shout out to David Rivas for recognizing what was up today. David Rivas, true fan right there. That's our boy Rivas.
David Rivas, I'm actually commissioning him to do a separate one of me and you. And instead of 4-4-0 a goal, it's going to say Gordo y Flaco.
Hey!
Hold on. My wife wants to see the image one more time. I got to throw it up real quick for her. There you go.
Holy strawberries.
I think it looks good.
I think it's awesome.
I think it's like right on the money.
There.
Yeah.
My man bun is
money. I got a little wave in my hair. A little nice.
I look like a presentable action
dope. Dope. Hey, the audience, let us know what you think, man. I mean, obviously David Rivas loves it. So it should be great. Sammy looks like a mechanic. I'm dead. I'm done.
I love
I
it.
don't even want to be on the show the rest of the day. He's out
Which
there
one is
changing
Sammy from
axles,
Uncle
tires,
Sammy?
and brake wheels. Oh, which one is Sammy? Just Scone Dog. Come
boy.
on, man. Yeah, it's probably the overweight white guy in the middle. I'm guessing that's him.
It might be the orange, or it might be the dude with the orange hair and the man bun.
Right. I mean, it could be him.
I tell you.
Oh, Lord. So we haven't been. What is today? Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Today is Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yes.
I'm off work tomorrow. Praise the Lord. Thank you so much for giving me a day off tomorrow before I have to try to kill somebody. It's going to be good. So how was your past? So we haven't been on since Tuesday, Friday, so Saturday, Sunday, Monday. How was you guys the weekend? How was the weekend?
Well,
anything pop off?
I don't really think we had anything going. Oh, you know what? Yes, we did. We had Juneteenth, the Juneteenth celebration on Saturday, which I guess I'll apologize here to everybody. I had no idea that when I got down to Lakeshore Park that it was going to be such terrible reception. So it was very, very difficult to maintain a stream. So next time we go down there, we're going to have a jetpack or something, but we're doing our best to try and cover everything. Not just everything, but everybody, we are only semi-professionals here. So I think we're, doing a good job of trying to give everybody enough light. There were some concerns today, apparently, that maybe we were overlooking certain people, which we're definitely not overlooking anybody. If anybody who has been relevant to the sports scene, we do our very, very best. Sconey, I'll message you after the show because that sounds awesome.
Bangers.
We do our very best to cover them. I will say this: we have not covered women, and that was brought up. And the reason why we have not brought in any women is because we kind of talk what we know. And we didn't we just don't really know enough. But I actually got a constructive message privately today from somebody who gave me some information and stuff to look up. So we are going to try and put together at least a segment for women's sports around here, because we do have some standout athletes for the women. But furthermore, anybody who is involved with any sort of sport out here, we would love to get you on here. That's one of the things we've been trying to do. We have reached out to the Edgewood head coach
St. John
and the St. John head coach both. So if you know these guys, get the word out for us, or put a good word in for us, because we're trying.
We're trying to get Geneva, Connie, anyone in the local area we want on. It's not just.
I will tell you
two
that
people.
I looked all over, social media for that matter, for the Geneva coach. I can't find that dude anywhere. But then again, Jay Corlew's nowhere to be found on there either. But he is very, very much a person. Yeah. So
Scone, we need that. We need that Corlew hookup, Scone. We know you got it.
Hey, baby, he was just at my house yesterday. I'm gonna tell you,
do the bridge. Building the house thing, Sammy. You got to do it. That's just priceless. I've heard this about 500 times, and it just gets better. It doesn't get worse. It's better.
You're gonna get the semi-professional version today. You're gonna get the 4-4-0 in goal.
I'll take it.
You're gonna get the 4-4-0 in goal. House building. Building a podcast, it's kind of like building a house. The first couple weeks, you're getting the internet together, you get your computer all set up. The second, couple weeks, you're setting up your microphones and you're getting headphones and, maybe even get a fancy mouse or something. I don't know. The third set of weeks, you start pimping out your show, and the fourth set of weeks.
I'm gonna swallow my dip.
Cody's killing. The fourth set of weeks, it's like you sit back to look on Facebook to see what you've accomplished, And today it's like the damn thing fell down on me.
The best. Oh, my dogs are going nuts now. I just like shot it.
Boy.
Oh man, it's been a long weekend, and I'm sorry, my dogs are barking. I knocked on the table.
So
My
my weekend, man. Had some Father's Day stuff. Went to
Oh,
good
yeah.
buddy of mine,
Jeez, oh man, I
Went,
completely forgot about that. It was
yeah.
Father's Day, and I'm so sorry to interrupt you, Tom, but I think
No,
you'll
he's not.
understand. On Sunday,
Nope.
my oldest daughter turned 13 years old, so
Heck
I
yeah.
am a father of a teenager now.
Hell
There's
yeah,
that.
you are. Break out that
Yep.
shoddy.
So she
that thing on
immediately
you.
hates you.
But so this weekend was cool just because it was Father's Day, and I got to really just reflect on being a dad to my stepson, which is probably the coolest thing. This is a cool podcast and everything, but being his dad is probably the coolest thing in the world. But something this week, it's happening it's happening on Thursdays, but I just want to throw it out now because after the fact wouldn't be as impactful. But on Thursday, it marks Megan and I three-year. I'm only a semi-pro at counting. 3-year anniversary. So we've been together 3 years on Thursday. I asked her to marry me last year, and for some reason she said yes, which was pretty cool. But I just want to give her a shout out for putting up with me for 3 years. So love you, Megan. And my birthday's this Saturday, so that'll be pretty cool too. I don't know. I'm
so big delayed
now.
Big delayed shout out to all the dads out there getting it in. Sammy. Oh man, I didn't Cole Grow Masters, Tom being a stepdad, Sammy height in an image. I don't know where he's going with that, but big shout out to all the dads out there.
That's a greater than sign, Ryan. Sunday. That's a greater than sign. You're only a semi-pro at math.
Whatever. I didn't read. I thought it was a dash. I got one good eye, so all y'all can piss off. All right.
Tony, that hurt because I was going to ask you to be the best man in my wedding, man.
No, you weren't. No,
I wasn't. That's a lie.
No. But I want to shout out to all the dads out there. It's so fun. And today was a great day. First day of baseball. And I got a banging coach pitch team, so everyone can know that. If you guys are bored, Friday coming up, 6 p.m. We won't go live, but we'll be playing baseball down at Cedar
Look,
Quest.
if you're not throwing chin music at Owen, I'm not going to watch it.
I throw some heaters. I throw some heaters, boy. I look at the kids. I'm like, it's coming in. Stinky cheddar. Are you ready? I do it right on the field.
Are you ready?
And all the parents are laughing, and then I throw it hard. And they're like, oh, he did it.
It's a fair warning.
Give them like one hot one, and then I back off from there. I just come, reel it on in a little bit. You know what I mean?
It's all fun and games until somebody smokes them right into your diaphragm.
Let's move on with the show.
Oh yeah,
yep. Owen almost blasted me in the temple tonight. It was close. I had to duck. It was that close. Yeah. So. Get into it. Sammy's been pumped about talking about the COVID-19 update all day. Just let everyone know how stupid they are for thinking it's over with. But here we go. Confirmed cases, 411, 42 deaths.
I'm sorry. I'm going to stop my camera.
Just let you guys know, this is going to be the whole show. Going to be a goofy show. I hope you're ready.
Yeah, we love comments. Bring them in. Oh, gosh. But, yeah, 42 deaths, 411. But didn't you say it spiked a little bit more?
Yeah, so we had that's Ashtabula County. Ohio had like 600 today, almost 600 new cases, and something around the in the neighborhood of, I want to say 50 or 60 deaths.
Did they?
Yeah, it was something.
Yeah, scroll down, you're waiting on me.
Yeah.
So Ohio only had 4 deaths today. Well, maybe it was yesterday.
Maybe it was over the weekend. But they did have 729. Yeah, 729.
Yeah, that's the big number.
Right? Yeah. So, and then across the United States, it looks like 292 deaths, which isn't terrible, to be
Right.
honest with you. But you're seeing,
Right.
so before everybody jumps all over the more testing, I understand there is more testing, but along with the more testing, hospitalizations have gone up too. So,
Yep.
It's not over yet. And then I guess that we're going to talk about another portion of this at some point, probably next.
Yep. Yeah, it's all going to affect. And like our next topic here, Fauci says football is unlikely unless players can play in a bubble. I don't know what kind of bubble they're going to put players in. I mean, I just don't.
All right.
I mean,
so
well,
when you asked that question, I actually went and looked it up to see what the hell they're talking about, because I'm thinking like Jake Gyllenhaal in the movie Bubble Boy. Like they're going to go out there. There's actually, I can't say the name.
I was thinking. You ever see those kids' toys where they run at each other and slam into each other and bounce backwards?
So
I was thinking those.
There's a South Park episode that has something similar to that. I can't name what it's called on the show, but it's hilarious. You should look it up.
Yeah.
But so what actually it is a they want like
question,
like
Sammy.
like the
Hold on.
professionals
Audience
are
member,
doing.
a great question. Look at this question. Not to interrupt you. It's a great question. Well, I purposely interrupted you, but I want you to answer it.
I don't care. So what constitute a spike? So I think what you have to do is you have to look at what the trend has become, and I guess what would you say, 40% up? I mean, honestly, any upward trend could be considered a spike because you were expecting a downward trend.
Sure.
But what we had was last week where you had, I think, one day where there was like 139 cases only in the state, which was great. It was the lowest of the year, and 0 hospitalizations and 0 deaths. And then it jumps right back up into the 500s and 600s and into the hundreds of people getting into the hospital again. As to the death rate, that is positive. The death rate is dropping, which is great. But just remember, just because you don't die doesn't mean something there that it's okay. Like, being in the hospital for 3 months is financially tough on a lot of people. So that's where that kind of comes into play. But yeah, I think the difference between a rise and a spike is probably the I would say the rate of rise the rise.
Okay. Okay.
If it's a gradual rise, you would call it a rise, and a spike is something that's I guess 50 to 100% more.
Hey, so we were talking about a bubble. We were talking about a bubble. What if they're really concerned about a bubble, and especially with Florida having cases spike? We all know Disney in Florida, of course. Wouldn't it be pertinent? League like commissioner like Adam Silver contact Dana White and see if they could rent out a part of Fight Island, Yas Island or whatever that is in Abu Dhabi, because that's about as big as a bubble as you can get. No one can get on or off that island. It's got the training facilities. It's got everything. I mean, couldn't that be a good idea for a bubble for sports leagues right now?
So here's the problem with that. I think it would. I think that works. But you have to talk you have to talk logistics here.
Of course.
So let's not forget, we are talking about semi-professional athletes because these guys don't get paid. All right. These are you know what the true term for an NCAA athlete is? They are indentured servants. Okay. So these indentured servants to the universities that get 0 pay are going to be required to fly to God knows where to play a game that they're not going to get any financial gains from or benefit immediately.
Well, I'm just talking about NBA. I'm talking about the NBA right now. That's all I was talking about.
I thought you were talking the
no, not college yet.
NCAA. Okay.
Yeah.
No, NBA, absolutely, it makes sense. Those guys have tons of money. But guess what? Florida ain't giving that up. Florida, you know who Florida is? Florida is they're the violinist on the Titanic.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
They're like,
That's
yeah,
a real good analogy.
there's dinghies over there, but screw this, I'm getting paid. Come
Yeah.
on, COVID.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
But so wait, yeah, you were talking about. We kind of got off of it. The bubble. You were talking about the bubble, Sammy. What do you?
Yeah.
You said you read about it.
Yeah, so the NCAA bubble that they're talking about is where they would have to go to a facility and only they could be there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's in the NCAA, that's in the NFL. The NFL, what they're asking is where all these teams, the only people that could have contact is them. And the reason why I focus on the NCAA because it is absolutely feasible for the NFL just because of the sheer amount of money that they have. They honestly, the NFL could probably build their own island out of nothing and make football Football Island and have teams just go there.
Right.
But NCAA, which is a very big problem for them, is the fact that these kids would have to be out of school. They would have to be completely online for their education because, after all, these are athletes. Remember, they're student athletes. They're athletes first, or students first. So it doesn't work. I think there's a very real potential for no NCAA this year. NFL. Yeah. I will tell you this: if the NFL cancels, then this thing is real because they are not missing a dime for anything ever.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. Oh God. Goodell would rather chop off his leg than
you are not kidding.
You saw that with the NFL draft. I mean, he did everything to make that thing make money on that.
Yeah, you're talking a $1 billion industry.
I just want, Sammy, when you said athletes the way that you did, if anyone knows what I'm talking about, and if you don't, look it up, you reminded me of Eric Cartman in South Park.
That's why I said that.
Athletes.
Yeah.
Athletes. God, and that was a great representation on that show of what it really is.
Oh, South Park very rarely misses.
Rarely.
I honestly don't understand how cancel culture hasn't gotten them already because they are really, really right to it.
Oh God, cancel culture will never get South Park. It'll never get Rick and Morty. It'll never get Curb Your Enthusiasm. Those are just shows that are irreverent and people know it. You know what I mean? Like, just like Baker Mayfield, irreverent and they know it.
And pretty soon, irrelevant.
hey, all I care about is Odell Beckham wearing that brown and orange 13 jersey. I don't give a damn who's throwing him that football. I don't give a heck.
So the question is that we want to kind of talk about with this. What does this mean for high school football?
Yeah, moving into that. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of multitasking over here, and it's really messing with my brain. But yeah,
you're only
so what does it mean for high school football? Yeah, so semi-pro B roadcaster Ryan over here. What does it mean for high school football? I mean, if the NFL has to play in a bubble per Fauci, that's his thought process. I mean, you're going to subject 15 to 18-year-old kids playing ball, and they're going to travel and do their own thing. I don't know, man. I don't think it's going to happen. I still, if I was a betting man, which I am not, but if I was, I would bet that there's no high school football this year coming up. We're going to talk about a little bit on the next topic here in a minute, but the amount, it just takes one outbreak and it shuts everything down. I'm kind of waiting for it with the Little League. I hate to say it that way, but
that's what I said from the very beginning. It's only going to take one. It's only.
I don't want it to happen in any way, shape, or form. But someone's going to be a turd, and they're going to be like, "I'm not that sick. I'm not getting tested." And before you know it, it takes 14-day incubation period, whatever it is, and then all of a sudden the whole team's got it because they were, whatever. Like I'll tell you, you could try to keep these kids away from each other, but they don't.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because they're little kids and they hug each other when they strike out. That's just what they do.
Right. I mean, it sucks, but what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like it's. Like even tonight, me being a coach, as a coach, you're always trying to, get the kids going, get them, paying attention and, coach pitch baseball. giving high fives, knuckle bumps, whatever you want to call it, just to get them going. And you have to remind yourself to stop, but it's not an easy thing to stop. I've been coaching kids now at that age for 3 years, but
yeah, it really takes away one of your coaching tools is what it does. Which is very difficult, which is why that's one of the reasons why, I didn't think we should have, I didn't think we should have went to begin with. I thought we should have just kind of had this really monotonous, very, very boring summer. And then allowed this to get taken care of the proper way. And then next year started from scratch.
Yeah.
I mean, I get why. I mean, if you put it in perspective, I understand why they're trying to do it. I mean, they're trying to push through it. They're trying to be, as good as they can be, I guess, if you want to call it that, and just make it work. But at the same time, pushing that hard and making things, kind of difficult for some parents and coaches in general. Like most kids, we only have like 6 kids on a team.
Yeah,
it's not even really teaching baseball. That's it. Like,
oh, you know what I was going to ask you, and I haven't even asked you this off air, so I'm really going to hit you. Does anybody here, particularly you, Ryan, or anybody watching for that matter, know why the EAC field is not taken care of at all?
No, I don't. I rode past that like 2 weeks ago, and I guess that'd be a question for the East Ashtabula Club, but
those were the nicest dugouts at Little League. Like
yes,
that was the nicest field to play on at Little League. And I drove my nephew down there over the weekend just so he could kind of see what the baseball fields were here. And there were everything looks great. Shout out to the people who are taking care of Little League because the fields look fantastic. Wilkinson Paving paved the parking lot and it looks great. I remember at one time you would risk blowing out your axle driving down to Little League because of the giant potholes. It looks fantastic down there. And then there's this beautiful field at the very back of the facility, or whatever you want to call it, that is completely overgrown and has these beautiful dugouts and a terrible field. Like, what the hell's going on?
I'll find out. I gotta connect. I got one of your, how you seem to know everybody. Well, I know somebody that knows somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Guy?
Yeah. Yeah, because that'd be dope. We could have a 4-4-0 goal softball tournament, maybe.
Oh, God.
Yes, semi-professional softball. Let's go.
Semi-pro softball. Yes. Just a one-hit wonder. That's it. That'd be perfect.
Yeah, only one.
Stream live.
One and done.
Derby. One and done.
One and done. Like
all right, so rolling in a little bit more COVID talking away. MLB 40 whole players test positive for COVID-19. I didn't see the total statistics on it, as in how many, where they came from, but I don't know if Sammy can shed a little more light on there.
Yeah, I know. So the Phillies had 20 of them.
Yeah.
So the Phillies had almost half of them. And then the rest was spread throughout, I want to say, 4 other clubs.
Right. Isn't it funny how COVID always drops on like the same time that baseball's coming back, which we're going to talk about that in a minute. But if you really think about it, like is it a coincidence or is it not? Because I don't know,
Actually, I'm sorry. Two more Philadelphia Phillies have tested positive. So that's as of a couple hours ago. So, that's just them.
So here's the question there. Like they're
Toronto Blue Jays are also closed. Have also closed theirs because a pitcher on there has tested positive. So here you go. Here you go. We're San Francisco Giants.
When are people going to care? When are people going to care? That's the thing. Because we're talking about it and they're just kind of glossing over it on the headlines. But is it going to take Bryce Harper being the guy that's I got COVID? You know what I mean? For people to actually take it seriously in baseball, you know what I mean? Like the face of the Phillies or JT Realmuto, Aaron Nola, one of those guys. Is that what it's going to take for people to actually be like, hey, maybe we need to pump the brakes a little bit, guys?
Okay, so to everybody who's super excited about MLB being officially back, we have 3 clubs right now. Okay? Mm-hmm. 3 clubs that training camp officially starts on July 1st.
July
I don't
1st.
know if you guys realize this or not, but those guys have to be closed for 14 days for a deep clean. And July 1st is under 14 days. So now you're going to have 3 clubs that are going to already start a shortened season late. And that's only the ones that have tested positive. Now, where I go with this and why this matters is what this does is leads to people wanting to be, and I know that baseball is such an honest sport. We've talked about this ad nauseum here because God knows they would never lie about anything. But it leads to incentivizing lying about your players not having COVID, or if they do have COVID, or if you do have a break.
I mean, that's tough to say incentivizing. You know, if where we're at right now with COVID, I don't think you could. You know, I'd imagine before every game they're going to get the temperature taken. If they show any kind of sign, it doesn't matter what it is. You know, something's going to stop them from playing. It doesn't matter who they are; they're going to axe it, and then. But
that's what I'm saying. Like, so what you're doing is you're incentivizing teams to lie. If you have an outbreak, they're like, shit, we can't have an outbreak. Like, what about if
oh no.
What about if a team 2 weeks before the season or a week before the season that happens?
God, that's tough, man. Like, because we're playing the what if game here, but we really don't have the answers because this is kind of unprecedented. You know what I mean? Like, there is no concrete answer for that. I mean, if this were anything else, I mean, I think we could be a little bit better informed and maybe make an educated discussion topic out of that. But this is something we've never seen before. So I don't know if the players would go for the lying, though. You know what I mean? Like I think those players, they'd shit themselves. And they just play. That's something to say, man.
Smart. No, here's the thing. Here's the thing about that, Tom. I would agree with you, but there's a financial aspect to this. So they did have to. So they did have to. They're paying the players 104% prorate.
Yeah,
a prorated salary. So they're getting paid more money to play this. But he also. Like they were bitching about the DH, that's in there. Guaranteed DH for 2 years. Expanded playoffs, that's in there as well.
Guaranteed.
So
my big thing this year is going to be how much are these players going to really care? Because we all know, regardless of who wins the World Series, it's not going to be the same win as it would have been a year ago. It's going to have the asterisk next to it.
It's not. It's absolutely. Yeah. So when the Cleveland
and then is the MLB going to go like some of the NBA players who are saying, is it worth even playing this year?
Yeah, and you know what else?
You know what I mean?
Here's another problem. Here's another problem with that. We're getting shortchanged on Francisco Lindor.
Yeah, we are.
So this is going to count. This is going to count as his year, and we're getting half a year of Lindor.
We're not even getting half.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're getting less than half a year. Yeah. So that's crap. That's absolute crap. That's another reason why this whole thing shouldn't happen.
No,
that's it's
not against anything, and it's ridiculous.
I mean, I still say there's going to be quite a few people that don't, or quite a few players that refuse to play. You know what I mean? Because they're going to play the game, and I mean, how many? Like, what's the season? It's just going to be a 2-month season then at that point, isn't it? Or maybe a little bit longer, plus a playoff and championship.
60 games,
or is it 60? It's 60 games, including playoff and championship.
Yep.
Yeah.
Including all that.
Yeah, that's
wow.
How is that? Wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. How can you?
I don't know.
It's 60 games in 66 days, and then the playoffs start.
Yeah. I was gonna say because you don't know how many games the playoffs are going to be. Obviously,
right.
The playoffs are scheduled to end at the beginning of November.
Okay,
it's all scheduled to end at the beginning of
Wow.
November.
Yeah, it's just
So-
going to be like, I mean, what happens if the Indians make the World Series and it's, October 31st and they're, or
Yeah.
November, or it's November 15th and they're playing, or you said it ends at the beginning of November. So it's late October and they're playing in Cleveland. This is one of the few cities that we've had snow games, like games canceled because of snow.
Mhm.
What happens when you cancel
Right.
I'll tell you what happens. They move it over to Toronto, and that would be our home field.
Yeah.
Yep.
Would.
Yep.
Yes, it absolutely would.
Let's see. So we might as well just chime in right here. MLB is back. Training camp starts July 1st. First game on there should be July 24th. So we're a month away from the quote unquote first pitch.
Yep.
So now, does anyone know whether or not it's going to be like? Is it going to be home stadiums and just typical baseball? I didn't read any part of that because it just dropped like 2 hours ago.
It was conspicuously absent. It was
even anyone in the audience if they have something.
I don't think there's gonna. I don't think even if they do that. You said the audience for it. I missed you because you.
Yeah,
cut out.
No, you're fine. Playing shit. I hate.
It's going to be in home field. It was conspicuously absent from the reports. That was the thing I just thought of too. It didn't say where the games are going to be played, man, and that's a pretty freaking big logistical part of it.
Yeah.
So,
is it going to be? Are they traveling? Are they not traveling? What's going on with
what
it?
happens?
That's going to be.
So what happens if a travel ban goes into effect again?
mm-hmm.
Right.
So
let's be honest, it's going to happen in Florida.
Yeah, well, I'm not just talking about Florida. What about if we go no international again? What if there's a spike in Canada and Canada's like, hey, I got news for you, America. Stay there.
You wanted to do something else, but it's fine.
Yes. You know what I mean?
It.
In two of the sports that we're actually all three of the sports that we're talking about right now, NHL, NBA, and Major League Baseball, you have real contenders in Toronto.
You do. Well, MLB, not really MLB.
Okay.
But
two out of the three. Yeah, two out of the three.
Yeah. That's a great question.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what happens is you've rushed into it. You know what I mean? It's people are running into the season with their eyes closed because they don't want to deal with the what ifs. Nobody wants to take into account because nobody wants to think about a season not happening. Well, guess what? It's very possible. And it's not like this is the first time it's ever happened. 94, we didn't have a World Series either.
We didn't have it. No,
I think I'll be honest with you. I think it's stupid
next
for
year,
the NBA to start up this year too.
Aren't they in next year the MLB PA where they renegotiate again?
Yep. And
so we could have a shortened season this year and next year.
That is why they're pushing through a season this year because they know they cannot survive 2 years without baseball.
Yep.
2 years without baseball, they become fourth place behind soccer.
What a travesty that would be. Jesus H.
Soccer.
So who do you guys got? Baseball is going to. So I'm going to ask Tom this question because I'm going to bet he knows more than anybody on best chances to win the 60-game World Series or however many games it turns out to be. What team are you taking?
I'm taking it would have been the Phillies, but they got a COVID outbreak. I'm going to say it's probably the World Series this year. You're either going to have the Yankees or the Dodgers, one of the two. Now, I will tell you, the Milwaukee Brewers, if they can swing a trade for Frankie, the Milwaukee run away with it. Because
if
the thing
Frankie's
about those
still in
teams,
Cleveland, is there a chance?
No.
For the Indians? No.
Yeah.
No. The Indians have lost way too much. The Indians have lost pitching. They lost their ace in Corey Kluber, and I don't give a shit what people say. Oh, well, Corey Kluber didn't pitch a lot last year. We got Cookie, we got Clevenger, we got like Plucko, we've got Bieber, we've got all those guys. I don't care. The fact of the matter is, you had
First of
Corey
all,
Kluber.
Do we have Cookie? That's
no, we don't. We still don't.
That's a beautiful thing because people are not taking into account. Carrasco has Hodgkin's lymphoma or has leukemia.
Yeah,
he got chemotherapy.
Just don't go away.
If he got COVID, it would kill him.
Literally, it would kill him.
So
he'd be done.
Yeah, he's not. There's a great, probably a better than great. I would be surprised if he pitches one game this year. And Nick Tillman actually brought up a really good point. It wouldn't be behind soccer. It would be behind NHL. NHL is actually awesome. So baseball should be behind them anyway.
And the other thing, too, that a lot of people aren't taking into account, the Twins didn't lose much, and they were the champions of our division last year. And the Chicago White Sox, for all the shit that we give them, they are building a hell of a team up there. They got these young guys that are now ready to come up and contribute in a big way in the major leagues. And they made some very sneaky acquisitions in the offseason. Cleveland might not be the second best team. They might be the third best team in the AL Central now. Because
I can't wait till Cleveland gets
doesn't want to spend.
I can't wait till Cleveland gets into sell mode, because when they get into sell mode,
either.
It's barely even watchable baseball.
No, it's ridiculously bad baseball.
They're almost semi-pro.
When you come out and say that your best player is Bradley Zimmer at that point, Bradley Zimmer and Jose Ramirez, I would say you got a piss poor team. Bradley Zimmer, let's just be honest, is the fifth best option on a weak outfield, and he's our third best option in our outfield. He can run like a gazelle, but he's a dog shit hitter, and his defense is bad. I don't know, man. I get hot about the Indians. I'm only a semi-pro announcer for them though right now. So
for the people watching or anybody, you feel free to tag, your baseball guys. I can't really tag Dean or Brendan or Mark or those guys while I'm on the show, but who do you think is going to benefit most from this shortened 60-game season? It's obviously, I don't think the Indians are in it, but I don't think anybody has the Indians in it.
People still have them in it, dude. People are still riding that jock hard. It's sad. It's sad.
I just don't understand that. Like,
I don't either. But Buster Olney isn't exactly my cup of tea. I hate his name.
Baseball guys love him. They love him.
Yeah, well, I love Tim Duncan, but that don't mean I'm the best goddamn basketball mind on the planet either.
Danny Reed tagged Pedro Martinez, so we'll have.
Yeah, hey, everyone that's in the audience, just start tagging players. Let's see what happens. Just start tagging them.
I remember.
All right, moving in. Yeah, that was a mean ass Jerry curl. That was a mean one.
Mean one.
So moving to the next topic, kind of interesting. So let me get Danny Reed's comment off here. Per the FBI?
Yeah.
So the Bubba Wallace noose was there for 2 years per the FBI. I'm just trying to myself. I'm really thinking about. One, they didn't disclose what team it was, which is probably a good thing. But two, who let somebody hang a noose for two? I mean, it's probably good. There's like, it's a double-edged sword here because
shouldn't it be more embarrassing?
Bad, obviously, there's a noose, right? It's bad. There's a noose there in the first place, but it's kind of good that it wasn't there now with our current situation where we, in what we live in. There's nothing. Good? No, I mean, no, you're right. I'm thinking about that wrong. You're right. I'm just,
you know what I mean?
Because you're right.
Like that means that people were just being like that. They thought that inappropriate, racist signal has been okay. That means more people have looked at that and said that that's not a problem for 2 years. That's a culture problem, bud.
Right.
Because I know if you walked into your office and saw a noose hanging there, whether there was an African American you were working with or not, you would be like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Right.
So
I got 2 problems with that. I got 2 problems here. First of all, they're saying it wasn't a noose and it's a garage door opener, garage door handle at some point. Listen, I grew up in hillbilly-ass Saybrook with my father who wears overalls and hold up shirts that aren't Yeezy. They're Hanes that are destroyed.
Does he wear? Does he? Oh, never mind. Just go.
Anyway, So, first of all, for you to say that that's a garage, I've seen garage door openers that are ropes. That ain't a goddamn garage door opener. Pardon my language. That's not what that is. Second of all, I have a really big problem. I'm hot about this, so I apologize for the inflection of my voice and the tone I'm using right now. But there are stupid pieces of shit out there right now saying that Bubba Wallace is Jussie Smollett. Okay? First of all, Jussie Smollett did what he did. Even if Bubba Wallace, let's just play devil's advocate and say that this was planted there by one of his people. It wasn't Bubba Wallace that did it. So you can't call Bubba Wallace Jussie Smollett. I hate this narrative that's being driven around right now, man. It is so asinine that people are comparing these situations now. It infuriates me, and it detracts from the whole thing that's going on because it's these people of privilege that are going on there and saying, oh, well, it's just another case of this happening. No, it's not, dude. This is a real freaking problem right now, and it needs to be addressed. You can't sweep this under the rug. You need to address this and address the culture problem that we have in America that, oh my God, I'm sorry.
So hold on real quick. I have to bring I'm going to bring an image up of the news so everyone can see, because I think it's been totally misconstrued now that I'm seeing this. So I'm going to populate the image. There's nothing negative about it. Well, yeah, I guess if you want to look at it, but this is the image that was brought to the attention.
That doesn't look like a noose to you?
That it does, but I'm not going to lie to you. I've seen that many times on many garage doors.
Who are you hanging out with?
It's not uncommon. I mean, at a mechanic shop, I'll bet you'd walk in and see one like that. Yeah, I'll bring it up again.
I've seen pulleys.
I've seen a rope. I've seen something with a handle. I've never seen something with a giant loop that would fit around somebody's neck. I've
never seen that type of knot.
It is not.
I've never seen that type of knot. That's a very specific type of tied knot, man.
Yeah,
that's very specific. That's meant to support weight. That's not meant to put your arm in.
I'm just looking at the image, and I've seen that type of knot before on a garage door. Maybe you guys haven't, but I have. You know, it's. I'm not saying it's right by any way, shape, or form, but I'm saying maybe being blown out of proportion. And in this day and age, the media, I know, never would do that at all. Sarcasm there, but look at
it's not Pump Boy. I'll tell you that.
Pump Boy coming in hot. Let me know he's seen it before. I'm not the only one. Pump for Christ, all that fun stuff.
Listen, I've seen ropes hanging down. I've seen ropes with handles. I've even seen ropes with knots tied in with handles on it, to like a rope handle. I've never seen one with the the swirl up.
Look at the image. Can you clearly tell that that's what it is? No.
You don't. I mean, you can see the noose style knot. I've never seen anybody tie a noose style knot for anything other than to try and be a piece of shit. So I don't even know why that was tied that way. If it is that way, so even if it was, put it this way: if you had that style knot on any other place in the world, at very minimum, OSHA would come get you. It's not safe. But what I'm telling you is oh boy, John's in here. What I'm telling you is I don't believe that for a second, and it's only in one garage. That's the other cool thing about that. So there's
it's assumed one garage. You don't know that.
How many people? If it was in more than one garage, I'm pretty sure they would have came out and said that.
I mean,
they would have
all I'm
justified
saying
it as such.
All
Now,
I'm saying is, when you think of a noose, what do you think of?
When I think of a noose, I think of somebody getting hung.
Like, right. So when I thought of a noose, when I heard there was a noose in Bubba Wallace's garage, my assumption was some asshole tied a noose, hung it up in the air above a car or something like that, but not in the middle of, or not on a door where you can clearly use it to pull the door up or pull it down. So again, I'm going to show the image one more time. I think it's being blown out of proportion by the media. I've seen this on garage doors many times.
All right.
Many times.
One thing I'd say, though, in response to that, let's just play devil's advocate here. So, Sammy, your sister had a run-in with a gentleman recently who put up a profile picture on his Facebook. And the problem with it was even though he didn't intend for it to be that way, in this climate, it's not the best look, right? That was the point Lisa was trying to make. In this climate, if I'm a professional NASCAR driver and you know I got my garage, you know damn well those dudes know every inch of their garage. In this climate, if I see something like that, I'm probably going to be like, well, you know what? Bubba's the only ethnically diverse person here. It could be a problem in this climate. How about we untie that knot, or at the very least, chop that part down so it doesn't raise any suspicion, because the media will run with everything. It's all about the climate that we live in now, man. And the fact of the matter is, it's not a good look.
But it's a garage door pull.
So why do you need to not?
I've seen it. I've seen it. It's not. You're assuming it's that. You can't clearly say by there. It does. So does it look like it? Yeah, but it could be just the ropes laying on each other with a knot at the top.
Well, if it walks like a duck, it quacks like
Ryan.
a duck.
I got news for you. I don't know if that picture you have is accurate, my friend.
Well, I just pulled it real quick, but that's the closest thing.
Yeah,
you have another one?
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you right now.
Send me the picture, or just share your screen. One of the two.
Yeah, actually, I'll share my screen. And mind you, this is a conservative website.
Like, all I'm saying is, like, if this picture, while we're waiting for Sammy, if this picture legitimately ends up being a noose knot, which I can't tell it is. There's 20 million different types of knots.
All right,
but if it is, it's wrong. Hold on, let me take this off. Then if it is, then it's wrong. Yeah, you're right. I'm not disagreeing with you on that aspect. Here, let me put your screen up.
Okay. So tell me when it's up.
It's up.
All right. So what you've got is that.
Zoom in on that.
This is from 2020. See, it wasn't there. This is the latest picture.
Yeah, that's the latest one.
You see where the date is underneath of that? So.
Yeah, but I don't see a noose in either one of them.
You don't see it right there?
No, we got to remember our screen's smaller than what.
Oh, yeah. So this picture on the left is the picture you showed.
Yes.
Okay. The picture on the right is a picture taken from June of 2020. So that noose wasn't there. That's fake. That's not the noose wasn't there. That picture of the noose is fake. So even if it wasn't there, that means that somebody put it back. So yeah. I don't know, man. That's here's what I'll tell you.
I don't know. So let's be honest.
In general, okay,
it's just like someone being a dick.
Yeah, and here's why I'm gonna tell you why. Okay. It has not been a career month for racist assholes. All right. They are losing left and right. No Confederate flag. So you can't show the second place Civil War flag anymore.
If you ain't first, you're last.
People who are putting racist social media posts out are getting fired, are losing jobs. So it's no longer tolerated. So what do people do when they get proven wrong? They get petty. They do petty shit.
They become Karen.
They
become
do
Karen.
They do petty shit. And that's what happened. Somebody did something petty because they're like, oh, well, we'll show him. And it backfired because I want to take this moment right now, and I think everybody needs to recognize and give, kudos to NASCAR. And not just NASCAR. I think NASCAR, the fans, the overwhelming amount of fans deserve to be recognized because they have handled this in great fashion. They're leading the pack in getting rid of the old.
We briefly spoke about it before yesterday when we did our little evening huddle. The last professional sports that you would ever assume that would be at the forefront of this right now is NASCAR.
Yeah.
Right now is NASCAR. It's amazing. The NFL is not, they've done things, they put their commercials out, but you would think the NBA, because it's predominantly a minority league,
yes,
would be at the forefront. But the NASCAR, which is predominantly a white person's league, I guess, whatever you want to call it, is at the forefront. And I think it's amazing. I really do. I think it's wonderful that they're doing it.
No, I want to take this moment myself to I'm going to apologize for my preconceived notion of what NASCAR fans were, because I literally always thought they were just these redneck hillbilly racist idiots, and I've been proven wrong big time. And it wasn't because of the sport itself, but it was because of where the sport originated and where it was popular. And yes, there are still a group among these fans that are still back asswards.
Oh yeah, there always will be.
But for them to step up as a whole, and even better, like when the guy was like, "Well, if I can't have my Confederate flag, I'm gonna quit," and they're like, "We don't know who you are." Okay, guess what? I'm in. Like Rick and Morty, you son of a bitch, I'm in.
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
I have to look
it's amazing though.
Right back.
It's amazing that they're putting it together that way. I kudos to them, man. Like I said, the last professional sports of any kind that I would have thought would have been at the forefront would have been NASCAR. I think it's awesome.
One thing with that, NASCAR being at the forefront is huge, but the NFL, I don't think, has had an opportunity to get at the forefront of this because they're trying to rectify their wrongs from the past. They're like Colin Kaepernick. Now that's a huge stride for the NFL.
They have the most glaring wrong to right in Colin Kaepernick.
Yes, that's what they're trying to rectify right now. Make no mistake, if Colin Kaepernick was never demonized the way he was, and they didn't have this issue that they have to deal with him, I guarantee the NFL would be at the forefront of everything because of the faces of the NFL are predominantly African American. If I think of my top 5 players right now, ain't one of them white. That's the thing I'm going to throw out there. The faces of the league are predominantly men of color, and so you would think the NFL would be, but just the fact of the matter is they're trying to rectify their wrongs from the past. It's the sins of the past that they're trying to get over, unfortunately.
Yeah, here's the thing. There's a big, you know what? I'm going to wait until after the break for this point. I'm going to wait until after the break.
Okay. Yeah, let's throw up the break. Let's get Pixel and Pencil up here. Let me share my screen real quick. Sammy, I'm going to let you shout them out. Then everyone that's watching, I'm going to throw our image up. We're going to have a little bit longer of a break than we usually would because I want everyone to see our new image. You can see it in the top right-hand side. Pretty pumped about it. So big shout-out to Pixel and Pencil who set this up for us. Let me bring up, let's see, Chrome tab, Pixel and Pencil. Hopefully this is the right one. Sammy, is that right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, I thought so. I just want to make sure. But yeah, Sammy, take it away. I'll just say that Elvis Torres, Sammy's cousin, is the one that made our image. You guys are going to see it on the break with some music behind it. But go ahead, Sammy.
Yeah, so Pixel and Pencil is his graphic designing company. They do graphic design, printing, branding. He did our logo, which you're going to see here, and it's actually in the top corner. He did that all himself in just a week's time. Did a really great job. Very professional. I enjoyed. I think it's great. I think it looks great. So if you have any need for any graphic design of any sort or computer website building and stuff like that, he also does that. Go give Elvis Torres, go look him up. Pixelandpencil.com is his website. So we have had a good experience with him. He's done a great job with us. So we are definitely giving our seal of approval here at 440 and goal. So Elvis Torres, Pixel and Pencil is our business of the day.
Perfect. Yeah, this is the image you made for us. Pumped about it. Right on par. But Sammy, you do kind of look like a mechanic right now. Maybe we can get him changed to orange to get out of the orange shirt.
Listen, we got to be careful, man. You kind of look like Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force right there, only really cleaned up. Hey.
All right. Let's take. We're going to be about a 4-minute break somewhere in that ballpark area. We'll see you guys here back about 4 minutes.
Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. That other getting old. We got samurai in time. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spending with samurai in time. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins hide. Share all your thoughts, just let it ride. down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4-0 and go. Come hit it, clench your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4-0 and go. Come hit it, clench your soul.
The Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.
Hey, welcome back, everybody.
Listen, I just want to put it out there, and I swear to God, I didn't realize it till just now. We are all wearing the same color T-shirts we are in the logo.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, very true. Very true. Hey, before we start the second half of the show, I want to shout out everybody that's followed us. Legit, we are up to 730 followers. Awesome. It's amazing. We are, I think, about 3 months into this show. We're not even like half a year in. We're about a quarter of a way through a year of doing this show. So it's been pretty awesome, this ride with you guys. So I wanted to say thank you so much. Please, the next step we got to get into is getting everyone over on YouTube. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on Facebook. But please, if you guys are listening and watching, please go over to YouTube and subscribe there. Hit the notification bell. Simple fact is, if we can get 1,000 subscribers over there on that end of it, it's a little bit easier to what's called monetize. And I don't want to say pay ourselves back, but we put a little bit of money into this over the last 3 months. None of this stuff is free. The time, the energy. So if we get a little help, it comes that route.
It's like I described on a post from earlier today. This is a labor of love. We are doing this. Obviously we don't get paid for this. We do this because we enjoy it. More than enjoying just each other's company, we enjoy talking to everybody who watches. We like the banter. We like to talk about sports. We like to talk about Ashtabula County. There has been a gap in coverage here for some years. I will honestly say since God rest his soul, since Pigskin Pete, Joe Pete passed away. I don't know if this area ever recovered from that loss. There have been some great sportscasters here doing a great job. The two I'm talking about that come to my head are Jordan Wetson and Cody Slaybaugh. Are great. They were both. I listened to them on the AM station here all the time, but then WFUN got away from that. Or when Indians game were on, there was no show, and then ultimately the sports report kind of died. So that's really what one of the basis of this show is to kind of fill that gap. When Ryan and Tom approached me, and I'm sorry to go on a tangent here, but. So when Ryan and Tom approached me for this, at first, and they'll tell you I wasn't about this at all. It didn't sound like something real. And then I sat and watched them, and then we did one, and I realized how much fun this is. And I think that's the same thing. I want to give both of these guys the credit for the foresight in this because it's not something I ever thought would work. And now here we are a couple months into it, and I can't imagine my week without getting this chance to, it's therapeutic at points to talk.
Right. Well, it's fun to talk to everyone that comments in. I mean, not that sorry to interrupt you, Sammy, but Danny is always on here giving good insight, regardless of whether he thinks I look like Billy Mays. But he gives good insight. John, we'll get you a shirt soon. Hey, Andrew, man, as much as you bust chops on here, like now, thanks for joining the show because you're here every week. Mr. Rivas is always here. Coach Rich is always showing up. Scone always shows up. We can't thank you guys enough for joining the show and being part of it with us because without you guys, we're nothing.
On the show. We got to get Sconey on the show.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
We do.
I just want his memoirs. I just want his stories. Like I'm Clark from The Office and he's Dwight. Can you just tell me your stories? Tell me your memoirs. You know what I mean? Like I just want to learn. That man has lived a life.
We would need a beeper, though. You know, like in shows on TV, when someone swears, they go, beep!
You're forgetting. You're forgetting. He was actually on a radio show, so he knows he can't.
He has his own podcast too now. What's it, Skinny and Scone? Isn't that what it is? I don't know if Sconey's still watching.
Sconey and Skinny ride again. But I'm saying when they were on 90, is it 98.3?
Yeah, the Bull.
98.3 the Bull, you know, they couldn't cuss there either, and he was fantastic. Yeah. Sconey's got a voice that was born for radio, and he's got a face that was born for radio too. I hope he's watching.
Dropping bows on him. But I just want to thank everybody that's joined the show. I mean, we always have our followers. Some weeks we have, some crazy shows. Like, I don't know how we get up to 35, 40, 50 people watching us, and then some weeks it dies out, but it's fun. We enjoy it. It's entertaining across the board. Last week I had a panic attack, I think, while on the show, just screaming into the microphone.
Jesus Christ, that was something.
It was fun.
Oh, it was the best.
It was fun.
First of all, I think the audience likes it better when we're at each other's throat, because that's when we see.
Most people do, right? Most people do, and why wouldn't you?
So where Sammy and I screamed at each other for like 10 minutes, and I threw my microphone. I think we're gonna win a daytime Emmy for that. I'm not sure. They haven't contacted me yet, but crazier things have happened.
Young and the Restless have nothing on you two, I'll tell you.
That's a good show, dude. That's a good show.
No, it's not.
It's on my DVR right now, baby. Right now.
Taking up some wasted space. Taking up wasted space. Oh. Anyways, so today is the 10-year anniversary of the decision, right? Today, right? Not yesterday, not tomorrow.
Nope, today, my friend.
Today. So today is the day of LeBron taking his talents to South Beach, correct?
Yes,
it is.
Yeah, that SOB at that time.
Listen, today is the 10-year anniversary of that turn of phrase, taking my talent. And how, oh my God, how pompous he came off. Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. My memories from this time is arguing with people because we could offer him the most money. We had the bird.
So hold on though. What it really was, because for LeBron it was about money. You're right. Miami couldn't offer him more, but Miami could offer, Florida has no state income tax.
That's
so technically correct. on paper, Miami was able to pay him more.
No, that's what the problem was at that time. Even with that no income tax, the difference in the money was so much, he still would be making more in Ohio, but it wasn't that much more. It wasn't like,
it wasn't astronomical.
He was still going to catch an L. But he would have made more money here. But I can remember thinking, when Chris Bosh, because if you remember, I want to say it was 3 days earlier on ESPN, Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade just go in the middle sports center at practice. And they're like, hey, we're going to team up this year, and kept it real low key. It didn't have to be this giant thing. This big orchestrated mess. And then for him to, because it wasn't, first of all, Miami wasn't even in the running, wasn't even talked about until that week. Before that, it was New York, it was Chicago
and the
Lakers. But New York was really, really running the roost at that time. Everybody thought, that New York was going to win. I thought if we lost him, it was going to be to New York. Chicago was whatever. They were they were rebuilding. They could have built around him. Or I don't know, maybe that might have been during the Rose era. So, but my God, if those two would have been together. But it was him sitting down with this guy. And I remember watching it too, sitting there, on the edge of my seat, waiting for him, and it still echoes in my mind. This season, I have decided, man, this is so hard. I've decided to take my talents to South Beach, and I wanted to take my house and set it on fire because I was so pissed off. AJ talks about
man.
how classless the Cleveland fans acted at that time. I was 100% in that group. I wanted to burn everything. He was a piece of shit to me. I couldn't care less if he ever won again. I never wanted to see him again. Obviously, I quickly got over that. But I will say during that time, I fought with every Heat fan the entire time he was down there, including one big Heat fan who was on this show, Elijah Cooper, because he used to call him the Heatles, and it pissed me off more than anything in the world.
Why the Heatles? I don't get that.
We're bigger than the Beatles, man.
Yeah,
They were like the Beatles.
They were bigger than the Beatles. So yeah,
The Heatles.
you know, I had plenty of people who just followed LeBron down there.
John working at Juvie, sent all the kids to bed immediately. I remember watching. I was never really that mad about it, but again, like I've stated on previous shows, I don't really watch or follow basketball as well as Tom and Sammy do. I watch it. I like even when the Cavs won the championship in 2015, 2016, I didn't really watch the Cavs until they were playing through the playoffs. Round 1, 2, 3, and then the championship. That was when I watched them. And I don't know, like I kind of agree with John. He made a comment a minute ago. He said, dude, if I were 23 and offered a chance to go to Miami or stay in Cleveland, bye-bye. I can't be mad at him. Like, do you want to be in? So middle of the winter, you're working every day. They still work 4 days a week, and then they put games in and all. They're working like 6 days a week. Do you want to come out in your spare time and look at frozen Lake Erie, or do you want to come out in your spare time and look at? I think it's the Atlantic. I don't know if it's the Atlantic or Gulf, but whatever it is, one of those two. I'd rather go look at the Gulf or the Atlantic Ocean.
So
all day, sit on a beach or sit in your house.
Here's what LeBron James is, and here's what he has been his whole career. He is like a housewife from Orange County.
Those are some good-looking girls.
And this is why. Because he is beautiful. His play is beautiful. And he suckers in old men with money. And then he gets them to spend all of their money and go broke on him. And then when there's nothing left, he leaves them for the next old man. And that's what he did.
Get out of here with that. He produced championships for those teams.
No, listen.
How much LeBron was paid X amount of dollars by Miami no matter what.
No, listen.
And how much money do you think LeBron made Miami?
Here is what LeBron James does. He goes to teams, and mind you, you guys know I love LeBron James. I love him. It's my favorite player of all time. What LeBron James does is he comes in and he is such a force that they are forced to buy into bad contracts to appease him. They are forced to give extensions to appease him. And then when the cupboards are bare and there's nothing more you can do because you can't compete because of all the piss poor decisions you've made.
Bare.
The cupboards are bare, and they were bare in Miami when he left.
Every time.
They're
always bare.
When he left
How
Miami,
many championships were in the cupboard at Miami?
How many did they win after he left? How many times? When did they make the playoffs when he left? 2 years after.
When did the Cavs win the championship prior to him leaving?
Because he came in, he made us sign all these guys into long-term contracts. We're still dealing with one to this day in Tristan Thompson. Because what LeBron James gets. What he wants, he gets. And then when all of everything is used up, then he leaves for somebody who can spend the money. I love him as a player. He's my favorite player, but that's what he does. He ruins franchises. That's what he does.
I mean,
you know what? You're right.
Prior to LeBron coming to Cleveland, it was a crap franchise anyways.
No, that's a little bit strong. You're right. He doesn't ruin the franchise as a whole, but what he does is he wrecks them for a couple years. Back. Yeah, he sets them back for years. So
you have to look at the pros and cons of it.
Right, but that's
the time he was there. The time he was there, he made the city, the Cavs, all kinds of money when he was in when he was in Miami.
Yeah, but
he made Miami, the city of Miami, buku bucks.
What kind of?
And he left.
Miami though could recover. What kind of financial ruins was Cleveland in? So what you have to ask yourself is, if you had to do it all over again, would you?
Yeah.
Would you take the
leave
heartache
Miami in financial ruins?
No. The city of Miami wasn't in financial ruins when he got there. They have more to offer than Cleveland. He left the team in financial ruins. They were in dog shit. They were not in any position to do anything by the time he left. But what I'm saying is Cleveland couldn't recover from him leaving because he was like 30% of the income. Now, what it comes down to is, would you do it all again to get the championship? And the answer is 100%. Yes, absolutely, I would.
Right.
But you just have to understand of what you're getting. You know what I mean? It's like LeBron James is like getting hit by a rich guy. Like, it's gonna suck, but you're gonna get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing. So you're right with these contracts. They're heavy contracts, and they can't offload them once LeBron leaves and all that. But in the end, as a business owner, so if you're really looking at a business perspective, it's all kind of predetermined and built in, regardless of the luxury tax that you could pay in the NBA. If you really look at it, they're going to assume the luxury tax. Most NBA franchises that are great pay that luxury tax because they had to go over the what the hell's it called? Why can't I think about it right now? They had to go over the salary cap, so they paid the luxury tax. But there's analytics and numbers, and I'm sure Billman can chime in and say it was them doing this, or Tom probably could too.
Yeah,
but
you just have to
the
know
Cavs,
what you're getting into.
The Cavs going over the luxury tax cost them an extra $20 million because of that year. But because LeBron was there and won a championship, they were profitable by $100 million.
Right,
so,
but
here's the thing, Ryan.
You're not taking into account is they couldn't sign anybody. They could not sign after he left. It wasn't like they could go out and offer any other superstar a max deal because they were bogged down.
Yeah.
They were bogged down. They were bogged down when he got here. When he got here, we still had to talk people into signing veteran minimums, which is why we got guys like James Jones and Mike Miller.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's okay because you know what? At least it worked this time.
Well, there's no. I don't think there's a.
Can I go?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I've been waiting.
Right. Yeah, I'm sorry.
So going back to the original thing, I didn't care when LeBron left the first time because I'm not a LeBron guy. I was more torn up about when Tracy McGrady got traded from the Magic to the Rockets than I was when LeBron left Cleveland because I knew that was going to happen.
You and cockeyed Tracy McGrady, boy.
I love it. I mean, I got his logo tattooed on my arm, for real. There. Anyway, so here's the thing though about leaving him high and dry and stuff. So when he left Miami has a competent general manager that knows how to flip assets and actually take risks to reacquire things to make their team competitive again. Cleveland doesn't have that. So he left the Cavs with Tristan Thompson's contract, paying Kyrie Irving to not play for him anymore for a while, paying Isaiah Thomas to not play for him anymore for a while. I mean, you just got Kevin Love, who you signed a monster contract that they didn't deserve, and now you've got Andre Drummond on a $28 million a year deal who is on the decline. Miami had all those veteran minimums, but they were one-year deals, so they could go out and get cap space again. Cleveland didn't have the foresight to play smart with money. So now they're high and dry.
Nope.
They're high and dry, man.
It wasn't it's not that they weren't playing smart. It's they didn't have a choice. LeBron wants this guy. LeBron gets this guy. Because if LeBron's unhappy, we're all unhappy. And I think that's what fans thought. If we could keep him, if we did everything he wanted, he would stay. And Dan Gilbert, so the ego between those two is another reason why it was never going to work.
No, it was the worst forced marriage in the history of anything. It was worse than when Rob was about to get married to that daughter in Game of Thrones and didn't marry her, and the red wedding happened. Only the red wedding in our case is salary cap hell, and the Lannisters are the LA Lakers wallowing in our sadness. That's a little.
Well, can we talk about how terrible that team was the year he left?
Oh,
the year before.
Oh, miserable.
The year before he left. Do you remember how excited everybody, myself included, was?
Yeah, they had like Derrick Rose, Isaiah Thomas. They picked up
Derrick Rose,
anybody. It was all about their name,
and we thought we won that trade.
We thought we were doing it.
We thought we won that trade, and we were
really doing it. We were bad, man. And then, but I mean, he goes out and he gets Larry Nance Jr., which wasn't bad. Jay Crowder, which wasn't bad. And they did do some good asset flipping there. But the fact of the matter is, right now, we have a front office that is drafting a piss poor way. We drafted 2 point guards in the top 10 in the past 2 years. One of them is a point guard. The other one is Allen Iverson. If Allen Iverson had no depth perception and was mentally handicapped.
Listen, Darius Garland, by the way, sidebar, statistically the worst player in the NBA.
I believe it. Darius Garland.
He is statistically the worst player. Like, do you know how hard it is to be statistically the worst player in the NBA when you're playing that much?
It's really hard. And you got Collin Sexton on your team too.
Collin Sexton sucks.
Collin Sexton is horrible. What's his hair, man? Like what is his hair?
Honestly, I don't give a damn what about his hair. I just wish he was a better basketball player. That's it. He's just not. The Cavs are. I would rather watch the Ricky Davis led Cavaliers than this garbage that they have right now.
Oh, I love the Ricky Davis team because at least Ricky Davis talks to Jerry Sloan to get a triple double. You know what I mean? Like, at least that happens. That's entertainment. From what I understand about WWE, that's an equivalent in the basketball world. And I don't know shit about WWE. I'm still in shock that John Cena was a wrestler. I'm still messed up in the head about that.
Disappointing. Very disappointing. All right, moving on a little bit of NCAA football. So
watch like PBS, Ryan. Watch a real show.
Wait, what? You stuttered there.
Why don't you watch like a show about like cave diving or something? That's culture. Okay, I have culture in my home.
Cave diving.
I mean, I don't know what the hell he's talking about either.
I have no idea. What are
he's gone off on a tangent,
going?
Folks.
I am going to the moon like Travis Scott right now. Okay, I am on a different plane of existence because I like Tracy McGrady and not LeBron.
As long as you understand that LeBron's better, that's all that matters.
All
right.
Debatable.
It's not even debatable. It's not even debatable. Damn it, Tom, don't start.
Let's just get into this. You're saying Tracy McGrady is better than LeBron?
In my opinion, Tracy McGrady offers more to a team than LeBron James. He offers. You know
what, Tom? You got to tell me why. What is it? What do they say? Change my mind, or
change my mind. I'm Steven Crowder.
Change my mind. Change my mind on why LeBron James. I'm sorry. Let's do this. Change my mind why Tracy McGrady is a better professional basketball player than LeBron James.
I want you to just tell me why they're even comparable. Tell me why they're even comparable.
Because they're both point forwards that were pass first. Okay? And Tracy McGrady has a better shooting percentage. He has a better efficiency percentage career-wise. Tracy McGrady understood how to change up his aspects of the game during games. So Tracy had a killer mentality at all times, not situationally. Like how you said LeBron has situational killer mentality. Tracy was trying to kill you at all times with that exasperated look on his face. That's the other reason Tracy's better. He looked so disinterested, people didn't take him seriously, and that's why he was able to dominate.
First of all, you could never.
So wait, hold on. So The majority of your case there.
Right, you better get that donkey ready because
you are basing your case. So at 30, I'll go 33% of your case off of this man's facial expression. You just said because his exasperated look on his face gave him a killer mentality because no one knew when he was actually being serious.
Listen, guys, the fact of the matter is,
that's why he's better than LeBron.
I'm just a semi-professional here. Don't take what I say seriously. And I just wanted some discourse for a second because I was getting bored with it. I don't honestly believe that. He is my favorite player.
All right. So then I
just wanted to answer real quick.
I just
feel like I've been taking such a back seat. I just wanted attention on me for like 4 seconds. Just like 4 seconds.
See, Tom, the thing is, everyone that's watching firmly believed that you thought Tracy McGrady was better than LeBron. Everybody.
Well,
that's why I'm such a good actor. I can sell that.
I understand that because he still thinks that Tim Duncan is the best player to play.
Oh, that's
yep.
Debate. That's not
even
debate.
Elvis Torres with Pixel and Pencil, our business of the day, points out the argument is pointless. Laugh out loud. T-Mac is not LeBron's class, not even close. Oh, it's better because of his hairstyle. Oh man, I'll go with that.
At least you admitted it.
That's what he said.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Much. Listen,
right, yeah.
There are some things that I am not logical about either because I don't care.
You're just a semi-pro.
I don't care what comes out of the state up north. I don't care how good it is. That whole state sucks, and everybody from it, and anybody who ever attended there. So there's that.
Ooh, look at Tom change his image when he goes away. He goes away a lot. We had talked to him about that. But anyways.
It's my internet, dude. It's my internet. I don't know what's going on. It disconnects.
Well,
it's weird.
All right, let's go into a little. Let's go into a little bit of NCAA football as we were getting ready to go to. I'm not sure why Sammy finds it important, but he does. So we're putting it up there. OSU, Bama, home and home.
The hell
and
you
with
mean?
20.
I think it's important. Everybody.
I don't know. You said in 2027.
Yeah,
like 7 years from now.
That's how they schedule football, and that's one of the things I want to talk about is how stupid that it is that they do it that way. This is why, like personally, I think that the athletic schedule should be decided 3 years before the game. So, like, Ohio State and Alabama should be doing a home and home in 3 years, not 7 years. But this is the problem with football. So I don't know if you guys remember. God, I want to say it was Virginia. No, because we actually lost to Virginia. Virginia Tech. It was Virginia Tech, and we had another Texas Tech. Texas Tech is the team I'm thinking of. So 2 or 3 years ago, we had Texas Tech on our schedule for Ohio State as one of our non-conference opponents. And that was one of the years that everybody talked shit on Ohio State and how terrible their schedule was and how they don't everybody they schedule is easy, But that was the problem is when Ohio State put Texas Tech on the schedule, that was when Texas Tech was blowing people out.
Yeah.
That was Graham Harrell and Michael Crabtree.
Yep.
Like, that's when Ohio State put him on there. But then that's so far away that by the time you actually do get to play the team, they might not be good. Now, is that likely with Alabama? Probably not. Although, people forget that Alabama wasn't always Alabama. Alabama before the BCS years was garbage. Just like the whole SEC.
Freddie Kitchens. Yeah, Freddie Kitchens, QB, baby.
They were garbage. Those John Parker Wilson-led Alabama teams sucked.
Yeah, they were awful. Oh my God, those Alabama teams were not. But they also didn't have Saban. You know what I mean? Like, all it takes is a coach.
Nick Billman with the comment of the day.
That is facts.
It is closer. We are closer to playing Alabama than the last time we lost to that terrible team up north.
That's facts all day.
Because it is 10:07 on June 23rd, and Michigan still sucks.
They do. They blow. God, like the thing you have to remember though is that like those stadiums, like Ohio Stadium, Michigan Stadium, all of them, they schedule their stuff out so far because they have other stuff that goes on at that like during the season too, like away games, stuff like that. So I think that what they're doing is they're trying to get that stuff locked in so they can have their stadium available, if I'm not mistaken. Because don't they like host like concerts and stuff there?
I don't think so.
No,
No,
I thought that's why they did it.
No, it's not like the NFL where you rent out the stadium. I'm pretty sure. And anybody watching this right now, we've got a couple people. I know Danny Reed went to Ohio State. Who will be able to tell us for sure. I think the only thing the Horseshoe is used for is football.
Really?
Yeah.
No concerts or nothing, huh?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I know everything down there is in Columbus is played at Nationwide Arena, which is the basketball arena. So, but I'm not 100% sure. So, anybody who went to Ohio State, Danny Reed, you can tell us if they use it.
Maybe lacrosse. Andrew Keats brings up a good point. Maybe.
Yeah, but you know that there's zero chance. There's zero chance.
Rolling Stones, Taylor Swift played at the shoe. So
okay, so is that comment? Oh, it has to be big. It has to be huge. Okay. So, but yeah, that's in July. So it's never during the I hate John McCoy so very much.
See, the one thing like that I'm reading though is that, and I think it's a piss poor excuse. Teams are worried that in a few years they won't be able to find teams to play, and they like kind of scramble, and that's why they schedule them years out. But I think it's like a piss poor excuse for a school like Ohio State, Alabama, Oregon, because they're never going to struggle to find a team to play.
No,
everyone's going to want to come to the shoe. You know what I mean?
3 years is what you should be scheduling out.
And then those players that you have will look forward to it too. You know what I mean? Like, tell me Garrett Wilson and Justin Fields wouldn't be chomping at the bit to play
okay.
Alabama.
So Danny Reed just said no, nothing during the season. And AJ Long brings up a good point. They play the Winter Classic at the shoe. They've played hockey at the shoe. They didn't play the Winter Classic. They did play hockey at the shoe. But again, that's one event that they could definitely go around that. But 3 years should be the max. So that freshman class should know who they're going to be playing their senior year.
They should. They absolutely should. Because if I'm Garrett Wilson, if I'm Justin Fields, Zach Harrison, I'm pissed I don't get a chance at Alabama, man. You know what I mean? Like that's
my
top level competition.
You know what my worry is power in the SEC tends to shift every couple of years. So, Alabama will be good for a while, Georgia will be good for a while, and then LSU will be good for a while, and then Florida might kick in, or and there's always some school that doesn't make sense that gets good. Mizzou, Kentucky, Arkansas had 1 year where they were really good.
Yeah, Kansas, man. Kansas. I know they're not SEC, but Kansas, man.
Yeah.
They for a while there, I think they were ranked in the top 5. But Kentucky a few years ago when they had Benny Snell, man, they were ranked in the top 5 for God's sake. Like,
well, you know what? Nick brings up a good point on
There's no rhyme or reason.
Notre Dame in 22-23. Notre Dame is terrible. Notre
Dame's not bad. Notre Dame's not bad anymore.
Notre Dame has not been they have not been a top level contender in 2 years.
Dude, 2 years ago they were in the college football playoff.
No, that was 3 years ago.
3 years ago, okay.
And then they got blown out. Notre Dame is a school that honestly should stop getting a chance. And here's why. Every time they put them in there, they get the doors blown off of them.
Yeah.
Because they're just not that good.
No, they're not.
I mean, in 19 they went 11-2, 18, 12-1. Lost in the Cotton Bowl. They won the Camping World Bowl last year. That was a good bowl.
Camping.
They were in the Fiesta Bowl in 2015.
Yeah.
With a 10-3 record. They're not like Ohio State good by any means.
They're not.
Like Ohio
They're
State
not. And here's the problem with Notre Dame, and it's been the problem, and it's always been the problem with them. They're independent.
Yeah.
Yep.
Independent teams should not be in the playoffs. Period.
No, they shouldn't.
Why not? The playoffs should be decided by conference winners, and then if there's an independent team. So if you want to, say you bump the college playoffs up to 6 teams.
Notre Dame has the hardest schedule every single year.
Notre Dame never has the hardest schedule ever. And when they do get somebody that's worth playing, they get their ass beat. Every time they meet a SEC team, they get knocked out every single time. Every time you give Notre Dame a shot in the playoffs, they get the hell beat out of them. They get put in the national championship, they get routed. They are
destroyed.
They are smoke and mirrors by definition. They are the only reason they get in. The only reason that they get any credit at all is because of tradition. If you put Notre Dame in any conference, if you put them in the ACC, the Big 10, the Big 12,
they are independent. But they're in
the ACC and basketball.
Basketball and baseball, they're in the ACC.
Yeah. If you put them in the ACC and football, they wouldn't be in the playoffs ever.
No.
So last year's schedule, I'm looking at it.
They would take 2-3 losses a year.
They beat the brakes off Louisville.
Wow.
Beat the brakes. Beat the brakes off of New Mexico, which was assumed, I'm sure.
Yes.
They lost to the SEC, the Georgia Bulldogs, 23-17. So it wasn't a terrible loss.
No,
it was a terrible loss. No, it was a terrible loss. The only reason they even close was because they scored 17 quick points at the beginning, and then Georgia dominated the rest of the game. It was a shit show. I remember. Padres that dominate.
I mean, 23 points in 4 quarters. It's a touchdown a quarter, basically. I don't know. I'd have to watch the game
like
again.
3 interceptions.
Then they went and won against Virginia, won against Bowling Green, won against USC, lost to the state up north.
Yep.
Won against VTech, Virginia Tech. Won against Duke, won against Navy, but Navy. So a little bit of credit here. Georgia was number 3. Hold on. Georgia was number 3. Virginia Tech with that win was number 18. Michigan was number 19. The win against Navy, which they blew the doors off of them, they were 21 in the nation. Beat Boston College, Stanford, and Iowa State. Which
there's not a quality win on that entire schedule. There's not one quality win, which is why they weren't in the playoffs.
The USC win might have been a quality win, maybe.
I don't think so. I think if you look at first of all, Jake Newsome is hard. Listen, as much as he loves Tom Brady, he might love Notre Dame even more.
All right, let's just break this down. Jake's on here watching. Let's break down the 10 games that Notre Dame has coming up.
Oh, I'll tell you right now.
The W or the loss. So I don't know. Let's see. I'm going to go left to right. Notre Dame versus Navy.
They'll win.
They'll beat Navy.
Then Notre Dame versus, I hate to say this, but Notre Dame versus Western Michigan.
Oh, boy. Listen, that's going to be a real barn burner. Yeah, they're going to beat Western Michigan.
It'll be Western Michigan.
Notre Dame, Wisconsin.
They'll get the shit kicked out of them. Wisconsin will win.
Get them.
Notre Dame and Pitt.
They'll
beat Pitt. No, they'll beat Pitt.
I'm going to have to say Pitt's going to beat them.
Notre Dame versus Clemson.
They're going to get destroyed.
They're going to lose by 40. They're going to lose by 40.
Notre Dame, Arkansas.
They're going to lose.
No, they'll beat them because they're coming off of a world record loss against Clemson.
No, it's not. It's not in order. I'm looking at it wrong now. I'm looking at the dates, but Notre Dame, Wake Forest,
They'll beat them.
Wake Forest.
Stanford,
Lose.
man, Duke, and then Georgia Tech. God, they do have a weak ass schedule.
Yeah, that's Notre Dame. So listen, Notre Dame put all their baskets in trying to beat one team because so they put as much garbage on the schedule as they possibly can, and then they sprinkle in two quality opponents. So all they have to do is beat one of them, and then guys are like, "Well, what about Notre Dame? Notre Dame should be in there. Notre Dame should be in there. They only got one loss. All
right, let's go over to Ohio State because this is one of the biggest problems that I always had with Ohio State and the teams they play. So I'm a Buckeyes fan just because I'm from Ohio and it's just kind of what you do, I guess. But they always seem to have a weak schedule, and regardless of yes, they do.
Big Ten is tough. The Big Ten's like one of the best conferences in the country.
Their non-conference schedule. Their non-conference schedule is much harder than any SEC non-conference schedule.
Okay, so we start the year off banging against Bowling Green.
Okay,
big win.
All right,
at least they're Division One.
Then we take off and we're at Oregon.
Tough game in Eugene.
Tough game, and we're gonna win
in Eugene. Then we come back to play Buffalo.
Okay.
Win.
So we're
3-0.
Go. Then we're at home again against the Rutgers.
Domination.
That's a conference game,
Yeah.
so we don't have to.
Right.
So 4-0.
And then to Iowa.
Iowa's tough every year. Conference game though.
Michigan State.
Tough every year. Conference game though. Every year they're tough. Every year they're tough. Every year they're tough.
Penn State, which is a tough game.
We're gonna lose. We're gonna lose to Penn State this year. I can feel it.
We are not losing to Sandusky's boys. Next.
They ain't Sandusky's boys anymore. We're gonna win.
Who is it? Nebraska?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nebraska, we beat them.
Then Indiana.
God,
Indiana,
listen,
Maryland, and Illinois. Those are all 3 wins.
Listen,
the last game, which we all know.
Count out Indiana. Every year we get surprised by one. Every year we get surprised by one. And it's either going to be Indiana or that freaking Purdue. One of those teams surprises us every year.
Every single year.
They always, the last 3 games, but even so, but we still come out and beat them. It's just a fluke game. They sit down
SEC teams are playing teams like Western Carolina.
Okay, so let's bring up Bama's schedule.
They play Charleston. Oh, please. Oh, please do. They play a Division I AA.
Let me share my screen with you guys. Hold on one second. All right, you guys can see that kind of. So, all right.
Oh my God.
First game of the season, Alabama USC.
Yeah, they'll beat the shit out of them.
And then they take off to
Georgia State.
Home against Georgia State,
who's only been Division I for 6 years.
Yeah.
And then to Georgia, or Georgia's home, or they're home against Georgia,
and then a real ball
this one, right? Oh, didn't mean to hit that button. Kent State, Ole Miss, Arkansas,
Mississippi State,
Conference
State,
game.
Tennessee.
Oh, get down there, baby. Keep going.
Alabama versus LSU, big game.
Division I, AA, Tennessee Martin.
Yep. And that's the one problem I have with them too. They get a break in between their conference games.
Let's go.
They had the Citadel on their schedule last year.
Yeah.
And Charleston.
Alabama plays in the SEC, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Ohio State in the Big Ten? Who's the second toughest team other than Ohio State?
Either Penn State.
I'm sorry.
Either Penn State.
All right. So let's go this route. Does Penn State beat Auburn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Before you even ask.
A&M.
Penn State beats every one of these teams except for LSU, Bama, and Georgia. Penn State would dominate every single one of these guys. Michigan would dominate everyone except for Bama and LSU. And Wisconsin, I would say Wisconsin would go undefeated against the SEC because they play a brand of football that.
No, you know what? I
they
agree
wouldn't be
with
able to
you,
compete
except for Georgia. Georgia doesn't really play SEC football either. Georgia's probably the best team
Correct.
in the SEC.
Georgia really is.
Considered.
Stop. I still think I don't know. I mean,
Michigan State's
now that
a tough team.
I'm looking at it, I think the SEC is still a bigger powerhouse than the Big Ten.
The SEC used to be. They had their 7 to 8 year run. The Big Ten has surpassed them. The Big Ten is a much better conference than the SEC.
John, I don't even know what Grinder is. Is that a sub?
Jesus Christ.
Just look it up.
But I don't know. I mean, but let's move in. I just looked at the time.
We may as well just run it. We may as well just run it till the end of the show. We only got 7 minutes left.
I just wanted to talk about the Ohio State. I wanted to talk about the Ohio State waiver
in the top 25.
Yeah.
There are 7 teams in the top 25 preseason rankings from the Big Ten. There are only 3 from the SEC in the Big Ten.
No, the Big Ten has made a comeback. They are better than the
7
SEC.
from the Big Ten, 3 from the SEC in the top 20.
They're better than the SEC now. It took a while. And I think there was a lot of overranking. I think there was a lot of overranking for years of the SEC. And to be fair, before that, the Big Ten was overranked too.
Oh, they were, absolutely.
So, but at this point, the Big Ten has more quality teams. And even in 27, 28, I can't wait to beat the shit out of Bama because I hate
It's going to be great.
I do.
That's such a long ways away to care about that.
Yeah, by that time, I could hate somebody else.
So probably the last topic of our show, to be honest, because I think it's going to be a minute we'll be on this. But Ohio State for football is requiring a COVID waiver requirement for players to play. And I didn't read into what the waiver exactly is, but it must be, you can't be mad at the school system
it just releases them of any legal ramifications if you are to contact COVID while playing.
No, Nick, I don't think about that because
you know what, Danny, you're right. They love the SEC. They love it, and it makes it ridiculous.
They own the SEC network.
Dude, who is that? Oh, he's an ass. I hate. He's a panelist. He acts like the SEC is just the greatest of all time.
Booger McFarland?
Nope. It's a white guy, older. I want to say his first name is Paul, maybe.
Paul Feinbaum.
Can't stand him. Can't stand him.
He actually just got fired from the SEC network.
I almost hate him as much as Mark May. Almost.
Oh, that's a deep hate.
I still talk shit to Mark May every time I see him on Twitter.
So, back into the waiver requirement. I don't know the grave details about it, but how about how ESPN absolutely hates Cleveland? I don't know that they do. I think Cleveland kind of buries himself sometimes.
They hate Cleveland.
Why do they hate Cleveland?
Because it's fashionable.
Yeah, that's it. Because it's easy to talk shit on that city. That's why.
Hey, Ryan, maybe if you went and read our blog every once in a while, you'd find an article that was intricately talking about that.
I don't know.
Of course, Jake Newsom loves Mark May. Why wouldn't he love Mark May?
I don't know, Sammy. Cool. Why would he love Mark May?
Oh, God, he's awful. Just the absolute worst.
But,
oh, boy.
So one, Tom, I don't know how to read, so that's why I don't read the blogs. I'm sorry.
He is astounding.
But so the waiver requirement, the waiver requirement simply, I mean, these guys they're playing. I mean, but this year they can get paid to play, right? And that this year, or is that just over on the West Coast?
No, that's next year. That's next year where they're allowed to profit off of their likeness. That's still there are going to be problems with that too, because the big problem with that likeness thing, and this is one of the reasons why there's a hang up on it, is once they profit off of their likeness, now they have an income. So their scholarship money changes.
Yep. Yes, it does.
Yeah,
it's there.
Yeah, and when they do that, they have to file taxes too. So, like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that has to do with that. And then, so they can do all that stuff, but they still can't hire an agent. You can't hire an accountant. You can't do any of that stuff because, you know what I mean? That makes you a professional player. So it's not as easy as just paying them. And I've learned that, although they should. Mark spits bullshit, not fire. You used the wrong you used the wrong emoji, Jake.
Oh, so back to the Ohio State waiver requirement. What's your guys' thoughts?
So here's why it's bullshit. You already don't pay these people, and now not only are they not going to get paid, but if they contract a potentially deadly virus, while breaking their bodies down for your school to make millions of dollars, they are free and clear. It's garbage. It's absolute garbage. NCAA is garbage. They have been garbage. It just furthers the point.
You put it in the most succinct package, Sammy. I don't really have much to add to that. It's just bullshit. It's indentured servitude, just as you said earlier, and it makes it hammers it home even. A stipend system would be better, actually. AJ brings up a point. A stipend would be better. Shoot, incentives, stuff like that. I don't know. Like, that's a topic for a whole other show, I think. Which I think we'd talk about on Friday.
All right, let's end the show on this because I thought that was going to last a little bit longer. I want to end it on best memories of Josh Cribbs. And here's the reason why. He just made it in the Cleveland Browns Legends Club. So, obviously, my best memory is watching. I think he ran, 9 touchdowns back in, 2013. He was the only glimmer of hope that the Cleveland Browns had during the season. And you just never knew when he was going to break one off. And some of the other best memories was watching him catch the ball on when they put him at wide receiver finally, like everyone told them to for years. And here we go with Sammy and his green screen. Oh no,
that's my favorite Notre Dame memory. I know that much. No, listen. So Josh Cribbs, honestly, so my favorite thing about Josh Cribbs, my favorite memory of him, I would have to say is probably the on field is obviously returning the kicks. But my favorite memory of him while he was playing is how much he was involved with me and Nick. Anyway, was his involvement in Cleveland, how much he embraced Cleveland. And that's what I'll always remember him as. He embraced Cleveland as a whole, and it made me feel good to be a Cleveland fan because I felt like we had a player that actually gave a damn. He was a good dude. He was a good dude. That's really what mattered to me. And he was a pro bowler, the only one we had at that time.
Yeah. My favorite memory of Josh Cribbs was December 2009. We beat the Steelers 13-6 that night. I think it was a Thursday night game.
Yeah.
And Cribbs had a 50-yard punt return. Man. He brought that shit back, and everyone just blew up. Everyone was on their feet. And he had 8 carries, 90 yards running out of the Wildcat that whole game. I mean, he took that narrative that he was just a kick returner, and he flipped it on its head, man. He really showed the versatility, kind of talent that he had to transcend a position and really show the NFL what a positionless player could look like that night. I think that night he kind of paved the way for a guy like Taysom. I did not Google any of that, John.
So, Tom, was that was the first time the Browns beat Pittsburgh in a decade, pretty much, right?
Yes, and I was in Pittsburgh at my fraternity house, all Steelers fans, and just me, man, just me, baby, and I was pumped. And
I'll tell you a quick funny story about that. I was watching that game by myself, and when the Browns won at the end of it, I remember for some reason I was at my mother's house watching it on the back porch, but I wasn't drunk, nothing. Stood up, got all pumped up and hopped up, and I fell over a coffee table.
Is that when you forgot how to read?
I couldn't even use the excuse of being blown out. I just literally fell over a coffee table.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Farley.
Yeah. Yeah, I do believe
Hell
Cribs
yeah.
is a semi-pro softball player too as well, John. You're right.
Yeah, you know
Oh
what?
my
Joe
God.
Joe Thomas was a Pro Bowler. You're right. He was a Pro Bowler. He was our only position Pro Bowler, so he was the
Right.
only one that we actually got to watch do stuff during the game because it's kind of hard to pay attention to a line. But you are
Yeah.
right. Joe Thomas, the GOAT. Joe Thomas might be the Browns' GOAT. He might actually be
Yeah.
the Browns' GOAT. I know Jim Brown is big for everybody, but I never watched him play. I know in my lifetime, Joe Thomas is the GOAT.
Nah. Got to disagree with the Cotton.
Oh,
Where's
okay.
number 13? Where's number 13? And it's Odell Beckham Jr.
First of all, he has to have how about he has a Pro Bowl season first before we do
Doesn't
that?
need to. Doesn't need to. He doesn't
How
need
about-
to
how
prove
about-
anything to anyone.
How about we have a Pro Bowl season before we call him to go? What do you say?
He don't need to prove nothing to no one.
Plus, he's gone after next year, anyways.
You
Let's be
ain't kidding.
realistic.
He's going to Vegas
He's
with
out.
John Gruden.
Yeah, he's
I'll,
out.
I will commit suicide on air.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
That's out there for God and everybody to hear.
Yep. All right.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
10:33. I'm tired. It's been a long day. I don't care what Sammy says. Don't care what Tom says. I'm done. I don't care.
Just a semi-pro
It's been fun.
broadcaster, dude. That's
Yeah,
it.
this is semi-pro B roadcaster Ryan. I'm getting off of this thing. I can only thank everyone for joining us tonight. Good show. Had fun with everyone. We'll catch y'all on Friday coming up here. 8:30
Hell
again.
yeah.
Some more hot topics.
Yeah, Friday we're going to talk about there's a petition going around and we're going to touch on that.
Yeah.
We're not going to get too deep into it, but we are definitely going to touch on it. So this is me. Oh, Webster Slaughter was inducted too. I just don't know much about him. That's why I
Yeah.
didn't really go into it.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah,
we
we don't
outta
have the age
here.
you guys do.
Just remember to everybody love everybody.
All right.
Hey, listen, we're real
Tom,
quick. Sorry,
I'm
Tom. Tom's out. Sorry. Semi-pro B broadcast. We're debating on trading Sammy for a washer. It should be great. We'll be able to wash Sam's clothes.
Ryan's
All right,
mom.
see you guys Friday.
Ryan's mom is suing him for that coffee table he broke.
Deuces. Thanks again, guys.
Rebound taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland! This is for you!
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. That other getting old. We got Sam right in time. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spending with Sam right in time. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul.
The Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.